difference between NBC, WBFF, and the multitude of other organizations is everything from exactly what the organization is looking for in their athletes to kind of what they market and what they present to the athletes. Technically, all of these federations would kind of fall under the format of bodybuilding, except for the WBFF, which they pride themselves on being a beauty and fashion federation. They run it more like a corporation and a company than they do a bodybuilding organization. All of the other organizations, to my knowledge, definitely NPC, definitely some of the natural federations I've worked with, you all pay an annual subscription to be a member, and you are judged purely on your athletic composition and how well it suits, your body suits the stage compared to the other athletes there that day. WBFF takes into account everything from your social media, to your job, to your lifestyle, to how you presented yourself at check-ins, to how your hair looks, to how your makeup looks, to your overall marketability as an athlete. They not only do they encourage individuality, but they encourage professionalism. So they're looking for an entire package as an athlete and as a model, whereas the other federations are looking for the best body on stage at that exact moment, according to their standards. Picking your first show is so exciting, and so many people want to jump into competing that they contact me as a coach and they say, hey, I'm doing my first show on, say July 17th. Well, picking your first show is really, really exciting, and it's great to be goal motivated. However, it's important to hire a coach, not just a personal trainer, but someone who actually coaches bodybuilding and competitive athletes. They have a track record in doing so. They have a consistent basis of competitors. You are not looking for a personal trainer. You're looking for someone who has a nutrition degree, not a certificate, and someone who has a personal training certification as well that is competent with coaching competitors. Then they can look at you as an athlete and give you guidelines as to what federation might be best for you, what category might suit your body type, and then you guys can discuss dates. Jumping in and just picking a show date, while it's super motivating, can be really, really stressful, especially when you hire a coach and you want to get on stage in 7 weeks, but you don't have any muscle basis. So even if your coach can diet you to stage lean, you're not going to look the way you actually want to look on stage. So I would say getting a professional and getting their opinion as to when you would safely be ready and actually have the package that you want to present is the best way. I think everybody always talks about the hidden costs kind of hitting them when they get into competing. There's all sorts of costs that are associated with competing that maybe people don't necessarily think about. So generally, you're going to pay an entry fee for a show, and it can be anywhere from $150 for a local level NPC or Natural Federation show to $500 to $800 for an NPC or Natural show, national level show. WBFF for amateurs is around $300 to $400 depending on the show. However, it is the same as a national level show. That said, that you have the opportunity to potentially qualify for pro status. So that's kind of one. That's the first and most basic cost. Then you're going to look at your suit, what you're going to actually wear on stage. Depending on the federation that you choose, you could be buying a pair of clear, shall I say, stripper heels for $40 to $60. If you choose a federation that allows a more unique heel, you could be wearing, $20 heels that you already had, or you could be wearing a pair of $1,000 quarter, high heels. It all depends on how much money you want to spend on that. Then if you're a man, you get off easy. You're generally wearing posing trunks, either a knee length, depending on the federation, a knee length board short, or a short, almost a underwear style, but European swim trunk, or bodybuilding posing trunks. Generally, all of those can be found for under $50. Ladies, you're not really in the same bucket here. We're talking the span of competition suits, depending on how big you want to go and how blingy you want to go and how exciting you want to go, can be anywhere from a $75 to $200 rental all the way upwards to a $3,000 suit. Generally, that is something that if you have hired a competition prep coach, they should be able to hook you up with a suit maker or a community of people that buy and resell suits. So I always recommend getting a used suit or a discounted suit. I don't recommend trying to buy a cheap suit off the store rack at Walmart, because believe it or not, people do that all the time. They buy a department store bikini and think it's going to look the same and are very disappointed when they show up on stage. You're better off buying a really nice suit that's used or renting it than you are spending, $1,000 for your first show in a suit and not sure if you're gonna like competing. So those are kind of the most basics, what you're gonna wear on stage, your entry fee. Depending on the federation, if you have a theme wear or a gown wear, again, you can spend $100 and get a little bit crafty or creative, or you could spend thousands of dollars. This is all up to the competitor, and this is all up to how creative they want to be. I think the biggest regret I hear with people post-show is that they spent $3,000 and they didn't get what they imagined. So I always recommend for a first show, erring on the side of caution, spending minimal money, and then looking back and knowing where there's areas for improvement. Like, hey, I really enjoyed my show, but I want a nicer bikini next time. Okay, you're willing to spend the money and there will be no regrets. So those are kind of the very basic costs. Then you're looking into, and this occurs to guys too, the tanning. Everyone has to tan regardless of the federation. You always, always, always want to go with the official tanner, regardless of the federation. You never want to go to a local tanning salon who your friend owns and think that they're going to be able to get you the same color. The pigmentation of your skin color and the tanning needs to be consistent with the other competitors on stage, regardless of your federation, because if you're too dark or too light or super spotty, the only person the judge can blame is you. If you have paid for the official tanning and something goes wrong with your tan, at least the federation or company that you're competing with knows that you went through the right company, and they will be on hand to help you if there's any spotting or streaking or any pigmentation discoloration. So that's something you can't skimp on, and you can expect to spend between $100 and $150 depending on the competition and how many coats of tanning you might need. For the ladies, I always recommend getting a manicure and pedicure. Not because you have to, the pedicure is something you could probably skimp on as long as you have a nice color of nail polish on your toes. But with nails, it is important to have at least a, if nothing else, a press-on nail, but something that looks consistent and that won't be dyed by the tanning, because for those of you that haven't tanned before, sometimes a spray tan can affect the pigmentation of your natural nails. So be careful and make sure that you have a professional looking nail depending on your federation. It could be a French tip or it could be much more creative. Again, look at the competitors that you're seeing posted on your federation's Instagram and Facebook and observe kind of how they look and emulate what that federation is promoting. More hidden costs I think people don't think about would be airfare, hotel, travel, the expense of, I have a certain meal plan I'm supposed to follow and now I'm going to be traveling away from my home for 3 days and I have to prepare all of that food, and I need a cooler bag to put on it. I need a pair of nice sweatpants to lounge around the hotel in that are black that I don't mind my tanner getting on. I need to send my friends and family who drove 3 hours to support me out to dinner, and I feel like I should take them out for a meal because they drove 3 hours to support me. So people don't really look at the smaller logistics of the sacrifices the show is causing within their family and friends, and sometimes they end up overspending. Or I've noticed a trend that people, when they're a little bit hungry and a little bit irrational and sometimes a little bit insecure about if they're going to be stage ready, they tend to spend more money on things that they had originally not budgeted for. So maybe you had originally set your bikini budget for $500, but 4 weeks into competition prep, you find this bikini online for $700, and you just fall in love with it, and it's everything to you. And you send a photo of it to 4 of your girlfriends, and they all agree it's perfection. So you spend an extra $200. And then you go to get your nails, and your really cute nail lady goes, "Don't you want one more?" You know, whatever added to your nails, like, oh, okay. So $26 extra later, you're leaving the nail salon shaking your head. This isn't something that you can blame on anyone else but yourself. So I always tell people to set a hard budget of what they're willing to spend, and then do not allow themselves to spend over that. And then the final thing I think that people don't think about is photography. When you spend that much time to diet and get lean and get on stage, you're going to at least, a bare minimum, want stage photos. You've put all this work in, you've documented it, spend the money and get the stage photography. Some federations include it, some federations will be covered by bodybuilding.com or other websites. If so, you lucked out. You saved $100 and got free stage photography. If not, spend the money. I always recommend people wanting to get into the fitness industry as a model or as an athlete to go ahead and do a photo shoot with a local photographer while you're at the show and you're lean, and you can get photos to show off all the hard work you've put in. But maybe, set a budget for what you're willing to spend and discuss it with, your fitness coach, your training partners, and see if anyone has opportunity or offers out there for, a discounted deal. So a competition prep coach is someone like myself that specifically coaches people that are getting on stage. There are a lot of personal trainers out there that can help you get in the physical condition you would need to get on stage, but getting on stage is so much more than just getting in shape. It is how everything looks on that exact day. So when someone hasn't competed before, I compare it most to a pageant or a wedding day. You're talking everything from photos to how your hair looks, to how your nails look, to learning to walk and pose effectively, to picking the right suit for your body type, to being stage conditioned, to having a safe and healthy nutrition plan from someone who has a degree and is actually educated in order to be able to safely diet you to that amount of leanness. So I always recommend getting a stage prep coach, even if you are a personal trainer or even if you are already in shape, because there's so much else that comes with getting on stage that it can be really overwhelming for a first-time competitor.
What do prep coaches charge on average?
Okay, so there's a few different types of prep coaches. There are in-person prep coaches who would charge you, but they would meet with you weekly or bi-weekly or once a month. And people that are meeting with you in person and putting you through workouts and in person helping you with posing could charge anywhere from $500 to $5,000 a month. Then there's online coaches that write your meal plans, write your workout plans. You may have Skypes included, you may have to pay extra. You may have phone calls included, you may have to pay extra. It is not uncommon to pay $50 to $100 for a Skype or phone call. So that's an important question to ask, is make sure that they're included, or make sure that you've budgeted appropriately for those. And those coaches can charge anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month. A lot of times they'll offer an 8 or 12 week competition prep package, which I strongly discourage, because if you hire a coach and expect them to get you on stage in 8 or 12 weeks because that's what you paid for on the internet, they haven't even seen you yet. So I at least recommend getting a free consultation with them, and they should offer that, and get a realistic opinion as to when you would be ready to get on stage. Because if you're expecting someone via the internet to get you stage ready in 2 months, but you have 30 pounds to lose, you're only putting yourself in a dangerous position, because you're expecting that professional to have you looking a certain way, but maybe you aren't presenting them with a package that it's safe to do so. So when I coach people, I encourage annual plans. I offer a heavy discount for that, because then we can work together for 2 months or 4 months or 6 months, and when we're both confident that they're ready to step on stage, then that's something that we can discuss and pick a date for that. When you're looking at choosing a time to prep, you may need to prep for 8 weeks. You may need to prep for 2 weeks. You may need to prep for 6 months. Everyone that is getting on stage is starting at a different level, and depending on how many times you've competed, and depending on how lean your body is and how close your body is to being stage ready, is all the amount of time that it could take for you to prep. Many professionals in this industry keep themselves 4 to 8 weeks away from being stage ready. Whereas many people just getting into the industry, they might want 6 months to really truly prepare and show up with an awesome body. No, you're not going to starve. At least if you pick a competition prep coach that has a degree and is educated, you should be able to get stage lean without starving. This is not to say you won't be hungry. In fact, I tell people you should be hungry. If you're not waking up in the morning ready for breakfast, you're probably not doing it right. If you can get on stage and be completely comfortable, unless you are in the bikini division and very naturally inclined to stay lean, you're probably doing it wrong. That said, of any federation and of any different organization, the bikini athletes are the softest of any of the athletes out there. And some women, very few of them, but some women can maintain a bikini style body quite naturally without ever feeling hungry or without ever having to really diet down. This is a very rare individual, and if you are getting on stage, you should expect to be hungry, but you should always be able to maintain a safe level of calories and not starve. You are going to be going to the gym probably almost daily for anywhere, as long as your prep takes. It could be, the last 6 weeks, it could be the last 6 months. I recommend that people take a rest from lifting day generally, but sometimes I have my athletes going to the gym twice a day. It all depends on your body, your unique level and ability to respond to the workouts, and your life schedule. If it's easier for you to get up and go to the gym for an hour and a half or 2 hours, but you don't have time later in the day, that may work better for you. It may work better for you to work out twice a day for 45 minutes. These are completely things that are unique to each athlete. Your goal body fat percent should reflect, really, it's got a big range. Everybody wants to have a certain number. Unfortunately, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about what your body fat is. It depends on where you're measuring it. For example, last time I was doing a show prep, I got measured 3 times in one day. I got measured by an Omron, which is a handheld digital electronic body fat measuring at 13%. I got measured via calipers, which is a trainer using skin fold calipers at 7%. And I got measured by my scale at home at 17%. So what was my body fat? I wouldn't have known unless I had gotten an underwater dunking. To get underwater dunked is generally a $200 to $300 charge, and I really don't think it's worth it. You don't need to know exactly what body fat you are, as long as your body fat is being stored effectively. Many of my bikini athletes generally are shocked when they realize their body fat is higher than they thought it was, because they may have super lean abs and upper body, but they have a little bit of extra in the glute region, which is great for a bikini athlete. But that said, it would put their body fat at a higher level than they thought. I recommend not getting on Google. I recommend not getting on the scale every single day. I recommend not stressing about a certain number, because depending on how you store your body fat, you may be able to be much higher or may need to be much lower than the rest of the competitors on your stage. Stage photos are a photographer is seated exactly where your judge is seated, and they are rapid shooting. They are not trying to find photos of you at your best. They are just non-stop shooting the entire time you're on stage. So this is the best possible way to see exactly what the judges saw. It may not be the most glamorous or the most beneficial as far as I want to use these photos for my social media, because you're going to see all of the funny faces you made on stage. You're going to see all of the transitions you had where maybe you hit a perfect pose, but what happened in between those perfect poses. You're going to see if anything was wiggly or wobbly and wasn't moving the way it should have been. That's what stage photos are going to show you. So these are the most useful tool you can have if you compete and you want to compete again. When you want to evaluate how you did and what you looked like, you will be able to send these to your coach. You'll be able to analyze them and send them to, who's making your bikini next time or your trunks next time, and figure out a good color, because you'll know what you looked like with your stage coloring underneath the stage lights. These will be the most useful tool you can ever get for competing the next time. The bikini definitely matters. It is super important that your suit fits you appropriately. How blinged out or glittery or decorated you get is not as crucial as the shape of the suit. If the suit is too big in the bum, it can make you look flat in the rear. If your suit is improper fitting in the chest, it can detract from your shoulders and your overall aesthetic. And if your suit doesn't flatter you, it can really hide a phenomenal body. So this said, I would say the fit of the suit and the cut of the suit are the most crucial aspects. The amount of bling and glitter, which is what raises the price and cost of the suit, isn't as important. While it's really, really nice to have the most pretty, blingy, glittery suit on stage, it doesn't necessarily affect your judging. As long as the cut and color of your suit flatter your body, you're going to be okay. You can spend anywhere from $75 to a couple $100 on a rental of a nicer suit. Or if you're purchasing a really high-end suit, you might be able to get a discounted rate for $400 to $500, or you could expect to spend up to $2,000 or $3,000. You are going to be judged on your entire package if you are with WBFF. If you are with any other federation, you are going to be judged essentially from the neck down. I hate to say that because it sounds a little crude, but with most federations that are bodybuilding organizations, you are being judged on your body. So that's great for those of us who weren't blessed with great hair or missed the memo for makeup that day. But it's a little crude when you think about it. So you are getting on stage in a bodybuilding organization to be judged specifically on your body. Each organization has websites and they have an outlined perspective of what they're looking for. It's important to remember that what the federation or organization is looking for may not be there on stage that day. So your judges have to judge based off of who showed up. So if you are, for example, in a class of 30 bikini athletes, but none of you really look like the bikini pros should, the judges are gonna pick, okay, we have 30 bikini athletes and 20 of them are actually a little too thick. We're gonna pick the top 5 of the thicker athletes that look good, or the best of what they're presented with. The same goes if you have a majority of a class and it's 20 athletes that are a little too small. They're gonna pick maybe the top 5 leanest girls because that's what they have to work with. So it's important to get on your bodybuilding organization's website and see what they're looking to judge. But also remember, the exciting and the scary part of competing is you don't control who shows up. So the only thing you can do is present your best package and hope it works out well for that day. Now, if you're competing with the WBFF, everything is judged. I tell my girls you're being judged from the minute you get off the plane or get out of your car, because first impressions do matter. And when you meet someone and you are not pulled together, or your hair is a mess and you're in sweatpants and you're screaming at your husband because he forgot your chicken, people remember those things. So the WBFF likes to look at athletes as a whole. They absolutely judge your body on stage. It's as much as 60% of your total score. However, they're looking at your entire package. They're looking at your hair, your tan, your makeup, your suit, the fit of your suit, who made your suit. Do you understand fashion? Does your theme wear or gown look like it would look if it were on a runway? Do you look like you belong on a runway? Can you walk like you should on a runway? And are you active on social media? Do you work in the fitness industry, or do you aspire to? Did you show up, and is this your first show? Or is this your 10th show? Are you invested in the industry? These are all things that are taken into account when stepping on stage at a WBFF show. So I would say if you're purely there to get on stage and get your body as shredded as possible, and you don't want to think about, necessarily even a future in the fitness industry or pulling together all the little things, maybe another organization is great for you. If you want to further yourself in the fitness industry and you want to incorporate your lifestyle and everything you are from the moment you show up, then maybe the WBFF is the right choice. For your first competition, I always tell people your goal is to not fall off the stage. It seems silly, but so much can go wrong, and probably will. Murphy's Law is always in effect on important days in your life. So I say make some small goals and make some big goals. You never know, you may get to all of them. Small goals. Not panic when things go wrong. Everything that can go wrong probably will. I already said that. But it's true. A strap in your shoe may break. If you cheaped out and bought a cheap bikini, your bikini may break. Your hair probably isn't going to cooperate that day, even though you redid your hairstyle 10 times over to make sure you liked that look. Your eyelashes, one of them may fall off. Just assume that everything that can go wrong probably is going to, but it's all going to be okay. In the long run, you've put a lot of time and effort and energy into this one single day, and it's crucial to remember to have fun. I always recommend make friends, talk to people backstage, exchange Instagrams, get to know people, because these people, are people you're going to see over and over again. The fitness industry, although it's huge and it's booming, it's also very small, especially on the competition side. So there is no time like the present when you're backstage at your very first show to make some friends, because you'll be surprised these friends will be ones that will last for your lifetime.